Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Learning Lab podcast. I know it's been a while since you've heard from us. That was Nichole's fault. I was ready to go. I was prepared. Nichole was not. Today, we're going to talk about one of the teaching platforms that's available today, these days. What we're doing is we're going to be talking to Crystal Weber. She is the new CEO of FunClass, and I know there's been a lot of changes over the past year, and we're going to hear from Crystal. That was terrible. Go ahead.
Hi. Thanks for
All right,
having
so
me.
yes, we're so excited to have you here. We've had Yan on a couple of times and the CFO, and there's just been so much change. We thought it warranted another go around. I know that FunClass has seen some significant upgrades. There's been some issues with some of the fundamentals when it comes to using the platform. And we just want to see how all of that works with bringing on the new blood and the changeover. I'm also really very, very interested in your story, your path, because I know you as Crystal Clear ESL. I know that's where I know of you starting. I don't know what you've done before that, but I do know of that. And I'm really curious as how did you go from that to being listed as a co-founder? I'm jumping right in. I'm sorry. To be listed as a this has been burning in my brain. So that's the path I want to follow. But before we jump into that, because I'm getting ahead of myself, why don't you introduce yourself and tell our audience who you are and where this is going?
Okay. Okay. So the back story is that I'm
Yeah.
a teacher and an educator. I got started after undergrad teaching primary and preschool English in Japan for 2 years,
Cool.
which was amazing. While I was there, I met my now husband. I don't care to say how long ago that was.
Come on, we got to know this. We need to know.
Okay. Yeah. So actually, we met 20
I
years
was just kidding.
ago.
I was just kidding.
Well, it's interesting because this coming February will be the 20-year anniversary since we met in a Gaijin bar at a Mardi Gras party in central Japan. So there you have it. Everything's on the table. Um, and he is German Italian. So we now live in England because I call it our compromise. It's geographically closer to his upbringing and family in Germany, and sort of culturally closer to mine in Western Canada. And so we've been here for many, many moons, and we have 3 kids and 2 dogs, and we're very firmly
wow.
rooted here in England now. And when we arrived, you know, 15 plus years ago, I decided to train as a secondary English teacher. So I went through university to do that. And I worked as a teacher for several years before we started a family. And when I was ready to go back to work, after my youngest was kind of heading into preschool, the online ESL industry was up and coming. And I thought, whoa, this is win-win for me. Like, I get to be a stay-at-home mom. It's all the best parts of teaching and none of the BS, if I can
Right.
use French. The bureaucracy and the paperwork and the
Yeah, right.
politics. And it's very grab and go, isn't it? Like, I was
Right.
very much a wing it style teacher. I worked for a few of the big name Chinese contracting companies
Okay. Who'd you work
and
for?
loved every minute of it. What's that?
Which companies did you work for?
So I worked the longest for VIP Kids.
Yes, I could
Love
see
them.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I also worked for Magic Ears and Bling ABC.
Oh, the top 3. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, those are
Oh, are they the
that's
top
the
3?
teachers I know that have the most qualifications have worked with those 3.
Oh, okay. Well, that kind of makes sense. That tracks because I was a qualified teacher, so maybe that gave me an in somehow, or I still am, I should say. So yeah, no, I loved it, and I started to. I can't exactly remember. I think I was going private Oh yes, right at the start of COVID, what happened was the first month of COVID, my husband lost his executive job. They were really cheeky and they used COVID as an excuse to make redundancies and of
Right.
course then you're kind of screwed because you've got an unforeseeable number of months ahead of you where nobody's
Mhm.
going to rehire you. Um, so I had to amp up my sort of online teaching hobby into like 6 days a week, 12 to 14 back to back lessons a day. And
Right.
it was grueling. And the worst part of that was I still wasn't clearing our mortgage payments.
Right.
So I decided to, for lack of a more, I don't know, suitable word, poach some students
Mhm.
and leave the online platforms. I do not endorse this activity at all, but desperate times.
Oh, please, what teacher has not taken half of their students from another platform?
Yeah.
I just did a YouTube video with a teacher named Megan from Florentis Learning,
Yes.
and she needed somebody that's done it and wanted to know what the secret was. And I'm like, well, I took 50 of my students off of Amazing Talker and made them all private. Every one of
Exactly.
them.
You're very
That's how
And
right.
I
then
It
did.
is how it's done, essentially.
yeah,
But
I think I started like I think it was like third when I left. Okay, I took 20 and then the other like 15 decided to jump ship with me. I
oh,
didn't ask them, they just jumped. And then I got one parent who decided that, ooh, I was the bee's knees and decided to post my stuff everywhere. And I had this huge influx, and there went my
oh
privates.
my gosh, that's the holy grail.
I
Holy.
know, right?
Yeah, so that would be ideal. So yeah, no, I got lucky with that as well because I had been around long enough to have established a pretty good reputation on those platforms. So the kids did follow, and it was a bit of a brick wall, if I'm honest, because I realized when you go private, so much more work,
Yeah.
Eh,
right? Like you're cutting out the middleman financially, but you're also cutting out the middleman with regards to like curriculum and
Right.
client services and payments and da 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 da. So that was a shock for me, and I was looking everywhere for curriculum that's replicated that sort of VIP kid
You can
experience where you
walk in and teach without thinking and prepping. Right.
exactly. And the only things I found were ripped off PDF textbooks. And
Right.
while it seems I have no scruples with regards to poaching students, I actually do have scruples where copyright is concerned. I
you
really
gotta
say
draw
that
the line
aloud.
somewhere.
I know, right? So silly. So I didn't want to use copywritten text, and the only other option was to put thousands into buying like a digital Cambridge curriculum,
Right.
etc., which wasn't going to happen.
Right.
Um, and I thought, surely, if I'm having this problem, there are countless other online teachers
Mhm.
who would also benefit from a structured, professionally written, interactive curriculum. And that's where Crystal Clear ESL was born. So that was my first business, and it's still running today. It took me 2.5 years to write the core curriculum because it is all gamified and it has almost 800 lessons.
Right.
Um, and I think in doing that, I became a very project oriented person, even more so than I ever had been. So when it was finished, I kind of took pause and I was like, oh, well, now what?
Right. What's
What
next?
do I do with all this time I suddenly
Right.
have? And I thought, what else do online teachers need? Like, I'm sorting out this curriculum issue. What else? And I went back to my roots as an online independent teacher. And I thought, well, what I really would have liked is to be able to sort curriculum, virtual classroom, payments, scheduling, communications, et cetera, all under one banner rather than doing what I call app stacking, where you're dealing with them all separately and paying for them all separately.
Right.
Right? That seems logical. And I went hard into researching how to accomplish that. I interviewed uh, developers. I tried to piece together bare bones apps and sort of seam it
Mhm.
together. I went on the Y Combinator and interviewed potential co-founders for like a custom build project. And then I came across FunClass. And FunClass had just launched their MVP, their minimum viable product. And I learned that it was headed up by Jan and Vienna, who had a really similar goal to mine.
Mhm.
And through chatting with them, we not only learned that that goal was similar, but that our personalities gelled and our skill sets were very complementary. And I said, listen, ladies, this is going great. What would you say, rather than me pursuing essentially FunClass's competition, to
Right.
potentially taking me on as a co-founder?
Mhm.
And they were open to it, but we wanted to do it right. So they took me on for a 5-week trial
Mhm.
where we sort of played at it, played at the
Right.
relationship, played at the job sort of thing. And then that went extremely well. And they brought me on officially. So actually, that was a year ago this week. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, so it's kind of like this perfect timing to be reflecting and talking about it, because it feels very full circle.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
And all right. Well, gosh, you like answered like some stuff there.
half the question.
Sorry.
So
Okay, so
now,
how I know, right? What was
what?
the transition like though for you
Yeah.
to go from, you went from independent teacher, then you went into developer, then you went back to independent teacher who has a developed product to now transitioning into a co-founder through trial. What was that transition like? What did that look like for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been really cool in that I've learned so much. And there's these sort of distinct um segments of my life in the last 5 years or so
Mhm.
that have been like building blocks to where I am now. I also didn't mention it, within the last year and a half, I did a master's degree in TESOL on top. So like that's one of these other really distinctive units that yeah, it feels like stepping stones to something greater, to preparing me for whatever is next in
Mhm.
that way. And it's like there are these discernible bits of knowledge I've acquired at each step that are feeding into the larger picture in a way. Isn't that random? Like, it's so weird.
I gotta say this. Doing your master's degree, was that the most miserable time of your life? It was my most miserable time. I totally regretted it 6 months
Did
into it. I'm like,
you? Oh,
oh,
no, I loved it.
I chose I chose the wrong master's program. That is my
Oh, okay.
fault. I
Okay.
chose an MBA, and I only cared about the strategy and the management stuff. I didn't care about the accounting and the economics and all that crap. I hated it. I
Oh, yeah.
did because I will never do that stuff. Never.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, it was surprising. I think I would have been in the same boat as you if I'd done my master's directly out of undergrad, but
mhm,
because I waited almost 20 years and I chose something that was perfectly relevant to the industry
What
that
you're
I
actually
worked in.
doing?
mhm,
Yeah, I really surprised myself. Like, I actually got distinction in the end, which is the top grade in the UK.
mhm.
And like for me, I was a pretty average student in undergrad. Like, I'll be honest.
Bare minimum
Yeah,
for four
yeah, I was
years.
more interested in the partying in
Right,
undergrad,
right, right. Uh,
socializing.
So how did you become CEO?
Right. Okay. So that was unexpected. The first sort of year that I was with FunClass, I came on as COO. So
Mhm,
that was perfect for me because it was a little less responsibility than running the shop.
mhm,
And because Crystal Clear is still ticking along and I'm still the CEO there, it was a nice union of like Jan's at the helm and I'm at the helm of this other thing, but that I could use all of the sort of techniques and softwares and knowledge that I'd learned through Crystal Clear ESL and implement them with FunClass and create this wonderful foundation of operations.
mhm,
Um, so that was wonderful. And then I will say about Jan leaving, we didn't realize it at the time, but for maybe like 4 months before she left, there was this undercurrent that I think internally she was kind of
Checked out.
conceptualizing the idea of leaving and coming to
Mhm.
terms with it.
She was pulling back.
Yeah, pulling back a little bit. And it was maybe a month before she left that we had a really candid conversation, the three of us, and we just said, I can't remember if it's me or Viana who said, Jan, is your heart in this? Like, are you okay? Type thing. And it was from that moment that she kind of came forth with, actually, I'm not. I don't think I'm cut out for CEO, or it's not where, maybe not cut out, but it's not where I see my future, or it's not where
Mhm.
my passion lies anymore. And to her exit was like a very quick few weeks, because I think she had been processing it herself for a
Right,
while. Yeah.
right.
And it wasn't with any animosity, like
Mhm.
we were happy to support her, but it was with a bit of a freight train on me, because suddenly it's like you either take up the role of CEO,
Or you
or,
gotta go find somebody.
well, even that we didn't have a choice, or really the company fails because
Mhm.
we are pre-profit. I would even argue pre-revenue. Like we couldn't bring anyone else on board because we haven't been paid this whole time, and we wouldn't have the money to pay anybody else. So who in their right mind would jump on? Um so yeah, it was like the choice is not yours. You either take it or we declare bankruptcy, and or whatever you do, fold. Um and so I kind of, had to. And
Right.
luckily have a lot of the experience that enables me to. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the position I'm in. And it is what it is, really.
Mhm.
All I can do is give it my best and juggle all the things and just hope that something comes of it.
Right. Now, how do you, what is that? So, Nichole and I, we talked about you before you came on, by the way.
Okay. Full honesty. Yeah.
One of the things we talked about you behind your back. So one of the things that we had a question on is, where's the separation between Crystal Clear ESL and FunClass? Or is there a separation?
Oh, that's such a good question.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, you guys are getting like full disclosure.
If you
When
can't
I
answer it, if it's not appropriate, you can
No,
just say
it's fine.
pass.
It's fine, it's fine. So when I first reached out to the ladies at FunClass and we were broaching the idea of a partnership,
Mhm.
it was firmly within the line of, I want a platform that I can embed the crystal clear curriculum into.
Sure, sure.
Mhm.
It's that whole umbrella idea
Mhm.
that I was mentioning earlier. And what's happened is it's been such a learning curve, because over the months, I've had to separate the two more and think about what's in the best interest of each business entity separately.
Right,
Because if you think about FunClass as its own business entity, which it is, it's not in the best interest to embed crystal clear at this
right,
point.
right.
There are some significant developments that we need to kind of take under wing before we ever consider that. So it's kind of been rolled back, if not even abandoned, as part of the developmental timeline. Uh, but I still consider Crystal Clear ESL and FunClass sister brands. So we do a lot of co-marketing. We offer, so Crystal Clear offers FunClass sponsorship of events and clubs and things before we'll go to the wider public, and vice versa,
Right.
because obviously both being my companies, we
Mhm.
want to enhance the brands and the reach as much as possible. And they are complementary to one
Okay.
another as well. So that's helpful.
So they're obviously they're connected, but they're still separate entities, right?
Yes, 100%. Yeah.
All right, cool. And yeah, she um she's still listed as an advisor. What does an advisor do? I'm not, besides advise, what do they do? I'm not
You know,
sure
like,
what
what's
she
her
does.
is she completely just, like, removed, or is she still obviously somehow? Because I noticed I went onto the app in Zoom before you came on,
Okay.
and it if you go into the app settings, you type in FunClass to bring it up, one of the contact emails still says Yan at FunClass.
Okay. Oh, good. Well, thank you for letting me know. I have to update that. So Yan is not involved in an operational way anymore. She's moved on to new adventures in that, like in terms of the bulk of her time. She is still a shareholder, and as such, she has an advisor role with sort of top level involvement. So
Okay.
if we wanted to take on another investor, uh, and I say another, we've never had any investors, if we want to take on an investor, or we want to sell shares, or any of those really high level decisions, she has votes in, as she should.
Right.
She was critical to the foundations of FunClass, and always will be. That will never change.
Does she promote fun class on like Xiaohongshu? I know she's a really, oh
No,
wow,
she never has, as far as I'm aware.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. But
Okay.
then again, her her, what do you call it, community on Xiaohongshu and others were primarily students, because she, like me, started out as an online English teacher. And so it wouldn't have made immediate sense for her to promote FunClass on her socials, because our clients are teachers and academies.
Well, but see, I thought she
They
missed an
overlap though.
opportunity there because there's a lot of what they call agents
Yeah.
on Xiaohongshu that are using probably your biggest competitor in China, which is Class N. The agents all use that. And I'll be honest, Class N runs fine, but I think it's incredibly expensive. I
Yeah,
think
I
it's
agree.
incredibly expensive. Um,
That's my biggest crux with that platform. It
right.
runs like it I never have an issue with it running. Like it runs. Like, but oh my goodness, topping it off constantly. I'm like, I couldn't believe anything would be more expensive than Zoom.
But it
Well,
is. Yeah.
Fun Class is pretty up there, but it is. I'm sorry, Fun Class, because it was in pounds, and most things are not. And it was when it's in pounds, it transitions into dollars. It actually ended up being more than Zoom. So,
Not anymore,
but
though.
oh, I haven't looked
We
at it recently. That was like before.
Yeah, we have reduced our prices for the new product.
So don't say anymore. What's been your biggest priority since you've become CEO?
My biggest priority, I think, links to the sustainability of FunClass, and that is translated into paring down the product into something that is reliable and sustainable as a company, because we set out, however naively, to do all the things all at once. We knew what the end product should look like, what the industry needs, what the teachers want, and we wanted it like that. And I think that FunClass became a bit of, for lack of a better word, a monster, developmentally, with all the features. And the more, like, even with Yan, we were a team of three, and the
Right,
more features and more sort of developments you tack on, the more potential for glitches and bugs,
right.
and
More
higher
points of failure. More
service.
points of failure.
Yeah.
It's funny you said that. Maybe you've seen this before. There'll be a whiteboard, and it's usually done in some sort of a business presentation. They talk about a business growth map, for lack of a better term. I don't know, but they show point A and point B, and when you're planning it, it's a line that goes straight across. But when you actually do it, it's all over the place. It's just what sounds like what happened. Um, yeah, so I was one of the early adopters of FunClass, and the product needed some work. I'm just gonna leave it there. I'm gonna be fair there. And I knew that going in. And did that play a big factor in switching over to Zoom?
Absolutely. We built the original platform, which we now call the legacy platform, on a open source software called
Right,
BigBlueButton,
right,
which we've later learned is notoriously glitchy. And part of that is because it's a web-based software.
right.
And when you have a web-based software, rather than a client that you download, which is what Zoom or ClassIn require, it relies solely on the bandwidth of the users. So in a perfect world, and in our perfect case scenarios, user scenarios, both the student and the teacher would not only have really fast connections, which people always can declare up and down that they've got, but
Yeah,
also
that's
really
not
stable connection.
right. Quality. Right,
Yes,
right, right.
right. And
You,
unfortunately, particularly on the student side, because often they're in developing countries or whatever's going on,
right,
older devices, that wasn't the case.
right.
And what we learned over a few months was like, oh my goodness, the volume of customer support necessary because literally the students or the teachers didn't have a stable connection
Mhm.
was sky high.
Right. Yeah,
So
I always tell people I'll take a 50 megabyte connection that is rock solid, that never fluctuates over a 1 gigabyte connection any day of the week.
100%.
Any
100%.
day of the
So,
week.
and that's
That's
not
our
something that
reality.
we can change. We can't go demanding that all the students go and upgrade their internet.
Right. Well, and upgrading their internet just means making it faster. It doesn't really make it better.
You're
It
right. You're
doesn't
right.
really, I come from a big technical background. That's why I know that. Yeah. Okay, cool. What were you saying, Nicole? I'm sorry, I cut you
Yeah.
off.
No, it's okay. I was just saying that that's our reality where we live. I pay for like 1 gigabyte and I don't get that at anywhere near that. Latency comes into play and there's just a lot of factors and something like that. No, we would give away more classes because they would claim it's our connection than we would get paid for.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. I remember the days. So ultimately, we thought Zoom is considered this industry gold standard. It has had, decades of development to the infrastructure and probably tens of millions or
Pretty
more.
solid. It's pretty
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
solid.
rock solid,
Yeah,
and
right,
it's low requirements in terms of bandwidth and
right,
everything. And on top of that, they offer the Zoom marketplace where they
right,
invite third parties to integrate with their product. So we had a good think about it and thought our USP, our unique selling points, are not really the classroom. The classroom issue is being done 15 times over in the
right,
industry. Ours are the gamifications and the student management portals. And actually, those can integrate very nicely with Zoom.
right,
And that is exactly why we pivoted. We decided to abandon the BigBlueButton product and, for better or worse. And I do say for worse, in all honesty, there are aspects that I really miss with that because, Crystal Clear ESL is built on Genially, and the
mhm,
co-browsing that we had with the BBB product was ideal for those
right,
lessons.
right,
So obviously I'm like, oh, but at the same time, I'm a teacher myself, and I know that the livelihoods of our members hinge on having a reliable classroom experience.
mhm. Yeah,
So, yeah.
I've had those conversations.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
So, um, you're the CEO. So what's your vision over the next year?
Mm-mm.
So my vision is to make money. Honestly, it's
Yeah, you're not doing it for free.
well, it's not even that. It's this there's this real disconnect, I think, because of course our industry needs reliability, and we're all like once burned, twice shy with
Mhm.
startups and with new tech, as we should be. Um But there's this disconnect in our industry where we want a platform that's, made for education, that's by teachers for teachers,
Mhm.
but we don't want to trust it, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
so with FunClass, it's very difficult to sort of bridge into the industry and gain that trust and be seen as willing to make a pivot for the reliability aspect and to have people take a chance on us and not succumb to, and I mean succumb to, investors, because as soon as you get venture capital involved, then it's not by
You
teachers
got
for teachers anymore, is it? You
right.
aren't allowed to make your own choices, and the end game is profitability and your margins
Mhm.
and driving up the cost for teachers, etc. But on the reverse of that, like our position ends up being so precarious because we're we're just riding on a dream basically, and trying to do our best. So when I say that my goal in the next year is just to be profitable, it's so really that fun class is still here,
Right. Right.
you
I got
know?
you. I got you. No, that's thank you for being frank on that stuff,
Yeah.
by the way.
Yeah,
And
really.
for being Crystal.
Please.
That's
All right.
hilarious.
So um so what do you like where's your what are you most proud of about Fun Class?
That's a great question. I would say that it has been our ability to pivot. I think for
Whose
when
idea was that to go switch over to Zoom?
it was Viana's, our
Okay.
CTO. Yeah, because she's,
She's like, I give up. I give up.
she's the one who I guess was the most affected by the
Right.
volume of customer feedback and
Mhm.
troubleshooting, because she's the one who had to go back into the code every time and make the
Mhm.
corrections and blah blah blah. So she saw that creeping up, and she obviously has a finger on the pulse in the technological world
Mhm.
and knew, to start thinking outside the box and what was capable, and she came to us with the proposal about Zoom, and it was really undeniable in terms of whether
Well,
or
the
not we
costs,
could
it's
do
got to
it.
cut your costs down a lot.
Yeah, well,
I know because
exactly.
the code browser, I know from experience
Oh
that
my gosh, the
the
co-browser. Like,
it's
we still
expensive.
have clients on the legacy product that.
I'm still on it.
Yeah, well, there you
Yeah.
go. We don't even make money off of that at all because of the co-browser costs. And on the flip side, like that might seem really stupid because obviously we can charge whatever. But on
Right.
the flip side, you want to make it viable, financially viable, that teachers
Right.
can join it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. It has to
So,
be at the right price. Right. Yep.
yeah.
Well,
Yep.
I mean, there's no teacher is going to join at something that costs us more than what we're even going to make in lessons as well.
Right,
It
100%.
can be
I
as fun, shiny as you want, but if it's going to cost me more than what I'm making, nope.
right.
And
I
there's
had
a lot
like
of competition out there too. So you're also factoring in what everyone else is charging and trying to stay competitive with that.
and I had like 60 or 65 students on there at one point, and I blew past the cap. It was
Yeah,
I was told Yan, I said I'm gonna bust that cap easily every month.
that's
Easily
incredible.
every month.
Yeah. Yeah.
But good, good.
Alright. So what's the one thing you want every teacher, parent, I don't know, possible user, what do you want them to know about the direction of Fun Class now? Because I mean, these are some significant foundational changes that have happened.
Yeah, I think I'd like for them to understand that we have done a big pivot, and maybe a little bit about the rationale behind that in wanting to provide a more reliable service for the sort of fewer things that we
Mhm.
now do. So without BigBlueButton, we're not offering the co-browser, we're not offering the quiz function, the attention tracker, and those little bells and whistles are also out the window. But what we do really well are the gamifications, for
Right,
example, those virtual pets and the student portals. There's not a company out there that offers that. So it really is unique. And yeah, I guess obviously it goes without saying all of the student management features as well, but I guess the main thing I'd want them to know is like the more they take that chance and do support us, the more we can grow and the more we can add and develop. But the reason that we've had to scale it back in the short to medium term is just to be sustainable with
Right.
the current team that
Right.
we've got.
Yeah. Okay.
I should mention that Jay mentioned it earlier. Uh, the last time we spoke with Yan, we had talked about it, the payment portal being a big deal, and that has now come to fruition. Is that correct?
Yeah, we launched that on Thursday last
Mhm.
week. Yay. It's
Okay.
only the first launch. So Stripe, God love them, have thrown some spanners in with regards to regions. So we learned pretty late in the game that they have some rules
Oh
where
yeah.
you're not allowed to register outside your country, and if your business or your independent business is registered in the UK, for example, you can only charge or only withdraw in Great British pounds. Same for EU. And so we've initially launched with the ability to onboard EU and UK teachers. And then, depending on how that goes, we will try to reconfigure to expand to North American teachers and then internationally.
And so if people want to use the payment platform, they have to be from those areas, and they also need to have a Stripe account, or they don't need a
No,
Stripe.
so we
Okay.
help you set up the Stripe account, and it's the reason that we've gone with this more limited one is because it really expedites the setup. Like there's very little information, documentation, verification needed. It's like a very sort of low level Stripe setup and quick. Like you're ready to go within about 3 minutes. If you've got,
Mhm.
you know, your address, etc., ready to go. So yeah, it's probably not my ideal. Like, of course, I'm the type that I want everything perfect right now, fully fledged. Let's go, you know?
Right.
But yeah, we've had to operate within the limitations of Stripe, and so we're doing it in waves.
Okay, cool. I was curious. I think that's a really important thing to add. I think
Yeah.
that's a
It,
really
it
important.
really is. Yeah.
But you also, so this isn't just about FunClass, this is about you. But you also can process payments through Crystal Clear ESL, right?
Yes, we do, but only in conjunction with curriculum. So I've always
Right,
been
right.
really firm on that because the payments are secondary to
Mhm.
the main.
You don't want to be a payment processor. You don't want
No,
that
we
to
don't.
be your function, right?
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's predominantly a curriculum company, but if I can use that to help teachers access students in China or abroad, then yes, I'm very happy to bundle that together.
Okay, cool. Cool.
Very cool.
All
Very
right.
cool.
I think I enjoyed this conversation with you. Actually, it's nice to actually talk to somebody instead of just internet know somebody.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree. It's been far too long.
all right. And I learned a lot about the new fun class. I think it's
Mhm.
a positive step forward. What do you think, Nicole?
I think so. There were some issues with why I never actually fully joined after I did a free trial that Yan had given us, and there were some issues that didn't work with the way I taught. I didn't care about the co-browser. I don't teach with
Okay.
co-browser. So like the other features that basically Zoom offers um, were the issues for me. And
She
Okay.
uses
twice
some of those.
actually.
She uses some of those teaching tools from
Yeah.
the like National Geographic teaching tools, and can't really use those with a co-browser, but they work with Zoom.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, I have another cool announcement or bit of intel. Now that we've launched, yeah, you guys will be the first to know in your community. Now that we've launched the first wave of payment, we're working on a really exciting development that I've pushed really hard for because ultimately when you say, "Oh, we integrate with Zoom," you're going to get those people that say, "Oh, Well, I use Google Meet. Or I use Lesson Space, which I love. And so what we're implementing is it's called like an agnostic linking. So
Mhm.
it's not a deep integration. So with Zoom, we have a deep integration, which just means that the Zoom app kind of communicates behind the
Mm.
scenes with FunClass, and all the data is fed back and forth
Stuff
automatically.
happens. Stuff
Stuff
happens.
happens. Exactly. This agnostic linking or lightweight linking means that teachers will be able to create recurrent URLs for whatever virtual classroom they use and embed them into the start class button and the join class button.
Oh,
And
cool.
then we take it a step further. FunClass already has these automated pop-ups to collect feedback. So at the end of each lesson, a teacher is prompted to fill in a tiny form and give their students some stars, just like on VIP Kid. And it's optional, they don't have to. But what's going to change is at the top of that form, there's going to be a mark as complete button. So when the lesson is complete, the teacher manually clicks that button. They can or don't have to input the feedback. They can or don't have to update the student rewards that they would have given in class. And then all that data makes the teacher portal and the student portals operate exactly the same way as it does with the Zoom integration. So all of that to say that FunClass will soon, within hopefully the next month, maybe two, be usable, fully usable for any virtual classroom and for asynchronous or hybrid or offline lessons as well.
Oh, cool. That sounds
Yeah,
good. Sounds great.
yeah, very excited about it.
Okay, what's up for
That
next week, Nichole?
that
I'm
has
sorry.
no, that I'm sorry, that had me thinking for a second because remember we just recently evaluated different platforms for teaching, right? We did like
Mhm.
Zoom, Google Meet and stuff. And every single one of them except Zoom itself, honestly, which is really annoying to keep saying that, always had something missing that we needed. And the one with Google Meet, the problem with Google Meet is that stupid pen.
Then,
The pen, yes, it doesn't have
Like if
the
you share a
pen.
document,
So
there's
like,
no
where
pen.
you can yeah, there's
wow,
no
I'm
pen,
shocked. Wow. How do
right?
people
And
do
like
that for teaching?
Yeah.
right, exactly. Like my workaround is when I do PDFs is I always use Edge because it has the built-in tools. So you can get around it that way by making sure everything is in Edge or something that has tools built in. But I'm thinking like, well, wait a minute. If you had that button and you're doing that and you're using Google Meet, you would now have access to a pen through ClassIn or ClassIn. I'm
Through class
sorry,
and or
Fun
fun class.
Class, Fun Class. My brain is
No,
late.
you wouldn't. You wouldn't have it through FunClass because we don't do the annotations or any of the in-class tools through FunClass anymore.
Right.
So
That's right. That was
darn.
my problem. I know that was my problem with another platform. It's always the pen. It's always the pen. I don't know what it is, but like every platform decides to get rid of the pen except for ClassIn and Zoom.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you say that, Nichole, because the annotation function, the pen function, was actually a critical decider in moving from our BigBlueButton platform to Zoom. It sounds really
Okay.
random that
Oh, you know what? It's not,
It is
'cause
critical. You
that
cannot teach without that thing.
that new pen they put into the legacy fund class,
yeah,
it's a dud.
I know exactly. But the reason that it was so critical is because, and probably Google Meet is feeling it too, is it is ridiculously difficult
Right,
to implement annotations in a
right,
virtual class. Like, why is it so hard?
right,
I have no idea.
right.
Well, and then, as a teacher, it becomes ridiculously difficult to teach when you don't have the pen, at least for you.
A
It's
100%.
Right.
it's even better if the kids, because some of my older kids, I give them permission, and that's awesome. But like, it's I almost can't teach if I don't have the pen because those younger kids, you got to circle stuff, and it's not just the pen; it's also pen and typing. But pen is like the number one.
Well,
No
I'm so
pen is a
happy
no
that
go.
I'm speaking to people who get it with
The
It yeah, the pen, for those who are listening, are all but 2 viewers, uh mindset matters, right? Okay, so the pen is the deal breaker for most of these platforms, really. For most of us, it's like the pen.
I totally agree. And you know what? I think that makes the key difference between something that's been designed for virtual conferencing, business purposes, and something designed for education.
Right,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. Okay,
All right.
Nicole, you want to bring us home?
Well, to be honest, this has been a great interview. I'm so happy you've come here. You really were able to answer a lot of questions. I mean, we had so many questions. We were ready to just be like, bam, bam, bam. And you just came out and were like, here, it's all on the
I'm gonna
table.
interrogate you. It's an interrogation.
Not really. We were just really curious because, we have interviewed a few times and Jay's been on the platform for a really long time. And it's not like we have a lot of skin in the game or anything. It was more of so much has changed and I actually kind of like the platform, to be honest. Although please tell me that you've changed it where you can see the egg grow in class because that was the only thing that irritated me about the egg, just so you know. But yeah,
What do you
the
mean? The egg
the fun
because it's
the
not
fun
in class?
class because it's not in the class. It
Oh
bothered
yeah.
me so much that you had this egg that hatched, but you didn't see it eat the coin
Right.
that
We wanted, like, when we gave them points, she wanted the pet to do a little jig.
No,
Yeah.
I wanted the coins to go to the egg, and then you actually watch the egg, like, fill up and then hatch.
We could probably implement something like that, but it would still be in the student portal and not in the live classroom. Obviously now, especially because those two things
The
are
Zoom
are
things,
even more
yeah.
separate, right?
That was like a sidebar, but that used to drive me nuts. I'm like, "Where's my coins? Where are my coins going? Oh, the egg hatch? I didn't get to see the egg hatch? Like, it couldn't have gone to a separate screen and see the egg hatch?" This bothered me the whole
Yeah.
time I did that. But, anyways, I'm sorry, I went off topic there a bit, didn't I? Um This has actually been a really great interview.
Yeah,
this is one of the best interviews we've had, I think.
yeah,
I really like your candor. I really enjoyed that you were very clear on what's going on, what the plan is, why all the changes have happened. Nothing's really being hidden or, gone about. We didn't talk about price. I don't know if that's something you want to talk about or not. But
Only
I
to
love
say that we're cheaper than we were, and the rationale behind that was because if we're not offering a classroom within the product, we are assuming that teachers might have to pay for a classroom to someone else.
right.
Still want FunClass to be achievable in that mix.
Uh, and FunClass works with the free version of Zoom, right?
Correct. As
Okay,
long as the teacher's lessons kind of adhere to Zoom's limitations. You know what I
right,
mean?
right,
yeah, the
yeah,
40 minutes.
We don't level up Zoom in terms
right,
of getting rid of their 40-minute limit
right.
or yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, see, I didn't know that. That's a good thing to know. So, a teacher could theoretically do the free version of Zoom and just pay for the Fun Class app.
That's
Right.
right. And the pricing in that case would be as little as £6 a month, which is under $10.
Yeah, that's good. Good. Very affordable. Very affordable.
That is super affordable. I think that was a smart move. Well done. All right.
You know, I'll take the
Yeah.
credit for that one.
You know
You
what?
take
I
it-
think,
you're the big boss now. You can take credit for
right?
I take
everything.
it all,
Right.
yeah. But then I
There you
also
go.
have to take the criticism too, right?
Right, right, right.
I think we should bring her back on. I think we should bring her back after about 6 months or so and see where all these implementations have gone. I think it was really wise to pull back and, you know, the core products that you want to offer, making sure they're nailed down before you start adding anything else back in.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
thanks, Nicole. I hope
It's
you're
always
right.
it's always better to do something small but do it really well. It's
Yeah, that's
always
the
better to
thing.
do.
Yeah.
Well,
And
and
in
it
fact, it
does.
was Matthew, the CEO of Lesson Space, who delivered that golden nugget of knowledge to us, to be fair. He said exactly, if you're overwhelmed and you feel that it's not sustainable and that it's snowballing into this uncontrollable monster,
Abandon ship.
don't abandon ship, he said. Scale it back, refine.
Right,
What is the
right.
simplest version of what you're doing? And that's like what I'm leaning hard on.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
core, it sounds like you're trying to figure out what your core offer is, make sure that is completely solid and foundational before you even think about adding anything else. No, I agree. I think it's really a great way to do it. I do business consulting, by the way. um, so yeah, no, I'm super excited about this. This makes me want to check out the app now to see where that's going. So yeah,
Well, let's
this this is awesome. I will invite anybody who decides to run across our wonderful podcast to put in some questions. I'd be more than happy to pass along to Crystal or to think about for a second interview. Yeah, where are we going to go in our next class? We have had the most interesting journey so far, just so you know, sidebar, and we have, our podcast has had an interesting journey. We're still boots on the ground, but we're not quite sure exactly,
Yeah, we're
floundering
kind
at the moment.
of, yeah, we're,
Oh, I'm sorry.
we're not floundering. I think that's terrible. But
No, I
we're
don't think
trying
it's
to
that
figure
much.
out
I
our
put it out
real
there.
purpose for the
Okay.
podcast. We're
Mm.
trying to, yeah, we've done a lot of different things. Some of it, and some were just terrible.
Oh yeah, some are
Ah,
terrible. Oh, it's
But
not in a bad way. We've actually
right,
been doing it more of a journey. It's been like a journey of, we know what we know, we don't know what we don't know, and we've been learning along the way and testing and having fun.
we
But
do
we
this
definitely,
because we like it. We do it
yeah.
because we like it. If anybody wants to sponsor us, though, you can reach me at pij0808@gmail.com.
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. But I have been promising another episode of Wall of Shame, Hall of Fame, which
Right.
was supposed to be this episode, but we did this instead. So I'm gonna have to come up with that. So I think I really do need to get that going for next week.
Maybe we'll do that in a Reddit. We like to go on Reddit and find
Yeah, let's do that.
dirtbag posts and kind of
Oh,
highlight. I
fun.
love those.
Yeah, those are a lot of fun. Also, non-spoiler alert, now that our schedules have settled down after the beginning of the Chinese new school year, student changing schedule thing, I will be going back to testing out some of those platforms for teachers who are interested in adding to their student base but can't find their own students. So I'm going to go back to those 4 platforms that I said I would test out for teachers. So that's still on. Anything else? You got anything else?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm
Thank you,
good.
Crystal.
Thank you, Crystal. This has been awesome.
Thank you for having me. It's been so fun and such a great sort of forum to voice all the changes that have been happening.
All right. Well,